What's up, everybody? Eternal God Possible is here to give you the next part of what if dual monsters were in MHA. Now, let me give you the recap. Last time we left off, Deku was at the UA entrance exam. He passed the written test somewhat similar as in canon. He pretty much got the same score, I'm pretty sure. Most likely get the same score, but yeah. And he was being questioned by Ida on why did he bring a dual disc to the practical part of the exam. He tells him it's part of his quirk and he got permission from UA to use it. So yeah. And that's pretty much where we left off. So, with that, let's get to the video. Starting now. We continue our story off with, well, as the gates to the practical tests open up, everyone's just looking, waiting for Presmite to say go, but that's when he says, well, right before he actually says it, Jaden says, "What are you waiting for? Go!" He's taken back, but then he just listens to his great-grandfather or something. It just runs, which then everyone's think, what? And that's when Presmite says, "What are you waiting for? Follow him. You don't need a ghost. You don't need to be told when to go. Or real heroes don't," or something similar to that. So yeah, as Deku runs past the gate, and a few people are following behind him, but as he comes across a one-pointer robot, he pulls out his dual disc and places on it elemental hero Sparkman, which then he says something like, "Okay, Sparkman, zap him," or which one of the other participants of the entrance exam sees this and are somewhat in awe, thinking, wait, did he just summon a classic hero monster? Which elemental heroes and destiny heroes and other hero type monsters are in MHA are famous in retro, which came before quirks, actually. Came during some before or after quirks, give or take. So yeah, Deku only summons Sparkman, takes down the robot, one pointer, which surprises everyone, thinking that he can manifest his dual monsters. He can manifest physical dual monsters or something. Which then they're distracted just long. Which they realize that they're distracting themselves. They continue on with the test with Deku summoning a few other heroes to help him defend against some other robots, and actually help the few other participants who let their guard down, which unintentionally helped them rack up some hero points. This continues on for about a few minutes. That is until Zero Pointer. They release the Zero Pointer. Deku summons, and with that, he's about to leave, but then he hears Oraka scream, asking for help. He hears this and runs straight towards it, and right as that happens, he summons elemental hero Clayman, which holds up the zero pointer's leg foot from stepping on Uraraka. Deku uses a very small percentage of one for all throughout his body, do a very small percentage of full calling, which, thanks to Jaden and Yubel's advice, they were able to he was able to learn full calling early, though it's only a small percentage, like maybe 2 or 3%. He was able to briefly lift the boulder off her ankle, which then the zero he asked one of his duel monsters to take her to take her to safety while he summons elemental hero Niels and fuses Clayman. He sent Avion to take Uraraka to somewhere safe, which he fuses Sparkman and Clayman to create Thunder Giant, which he has elemental hero Niels on the field as well. Has him summoned or whatever. They both tag team somewhat and take down the zero pointer with ease, surprising the other participants, thinking just gawking at Izuku and his what they think is quirk. It is a power, but not really a quirk, though. So yeah, it's somewhat everything after that. He goes to try to get some more points, but that's when the thing ends and the time is up, and after that it goes somewhat similar to canon. He goes home, actually trains a little bit. He's somewhat not really worried because he knows he got some points, which then as soon as the letter arrives, just same time as in canon, he gets the letter saying that he got into UA. Similar, but it says he got the top score of the entrance of the practical tests, beating Bakugo just by a little, which surprises Deku, thinking, I didn't expect to get the top score. Jaden also didn't think that was going to happen either. But, never mind. I'm joking. He did. So, yeah. After that, Deku is, during this time, a day before, or a few days before he goes to UA, the principal of Deku's school called both him and Bakugo to principal's office to congratulate them on getting into UA, thinking that not believing that 2 students of their school got into UA. So yeah. And after that, Bakugo confronted Deku on saying, how did you get into UA? Deku somewhat lies, he tells him that he, about the day of the sludge villain attack, he awoken to his great-grandfather's ability to see and manifest duel monster spirits physically. And let me explain, over the years, Deku and Bakugo had somewhat of a rivalry in dueling, but also not much. Their relationship isn't as toxic. Not really toxic, but Bakugo tried to look out for Deku, telling him he can't get into UA, he should just try to become pro duelist or something like that, because he tried years to beat him. And if he hasn't won, only won once or once or twice, but all the other times, nada. I ain't unable to beat Deku's strategies. But back to the video, Bakugo is surprised, especially since he remembers Deku telling him a story that Deku's mother told him, as he explained it, that her grandfather or his great grandfather had the power to see dual monster spirits and manifest them physically. A time before quirks or something. He can't believe it's true, so he just lets Deku off the hook. And just says, "You're lucky, Deku. Wish you luck," or something like that. As he leaves, he somewhat smiles, but also feels like that he's gonna have to try even harder, because that kind of power, he's just borrowing the power of his dual monsters, but it is his power, or at least his family's power, as he thinks this as he walks away. So yeah. And we time skip to the day of the day Deku goes to UA. He's somewhat a little late because he slept in. He went to bed a little late that night before, because he was working on a deck or two and trying to work out his own late night exercise workout. So yeah. Jaden says, this reminds me of my first day at Duel Academy. So yeah, or something like that. Which as they get there, they're somewhat the last ones to come in. Right behind Ochako, they get there somewhat as time to canon. But yeah, Ochako says, "I recognize that hair." There wasn't really much of a commotion since Bakugo. He would still act the same, being having his feet on the desk, which Ida does try to scold him. Ida does come in and say, "I'm sorry for doubting you. You are the better student." Which Deku, just like in canon, doesn't know what he's talking about. He says, "You saw the hidden criteria for the exam." So yeah, Deku, before he got a chance to explain, Ochako became behind him and said, "I recognize that messy green hair." Which then Aizawa, in his cocoon thing, or his sleeping bag, appears behind Ochako and says, "It took you something seconds to finally shut up. Now, take your seats and go and put on, take your seats and listen up." Which then he says that everyone here is going to be taking a physical test. Which, just like in canon, the same comments which Jaden comments to Deku, thinking, "Yeah, this guy's look like he hasn't got any sleep," but it also says he's kind of a strict teacher. Seems like it. He wishes Deku luck, which just makes Deku nervous. So yeah, he tells everyone to get on some, gives them everyone a UA gym clothes or whatever, and meet on the field. Everything goes the same. Soon as Deku gets on, everyone gets there. He says, winner of the UA practical test exam, step forward. Well, he throws the ball thing, saying, we're going to be testing your quirks. He throws it at Deku, tossing it to him, and he says, the winner of the UA exam will demonstrate. Throw that ball with your quirk. Which Bakugo didn't actually know Deku was the one who got the top score, which he's somewhat angered but also happy in a way, but he's still in a way that it's still Bakugo. So yeah, as he does this, he says, I want you to throw it twice. You and your dual monster spirit. Your dual monster. Which some of the classmates who weren't in the same area part of the exam did not see Deku use fight alongside his dual monsters, which they're confused on why he also has a dual disc. They ain't confused on Aizawa saying this. Which then he pulls out the dual disc and sets, what he thinks is his strongest actual normal monster, which is Elemental Hero Neos. I'm not sure the actual physical strength. I know his attack points and defense points, but not what his actual physical strength would be compared to throwing something. So yeah, I'm just gonna say Neos gets somewhere a little above Bakugo than Canon. Which everyone's amazed on his Deku's abilities, especially dual summoning, able to manifest a dual monster hologram physically, especially one that has that kind of power, especially one that's that strong or whatever. So yeah, Deku, he pretty much he didn't really hurt himself during the entrance exam, so Aizawa doesn't try to turn off his quirk, which he does a small percentage of full cowling and gets somewhat semi-fire. He only does about 2 or 3%. So yeah. With that, everyone thinks that the test can be easy, which Aizawa smiles, and then everyone gets nervous. He says, oh, you think it's going to be easy? He says same thing as in canon. Everyone thinks, Chaco says the same thing, where saying that's not fair. And everything goes somewhat similar, except for all the physical parts of the test. Deku has to do it twice, essentially, just so he can keep score on. Aizawa says you have to do it twice. Your dual monster, whichever dual monster you use, and you yourself have to do it. So he can keep score on Deku's actual physical performance, because Aizawa knows that he can't always rely on your dual monsters. Rely on to summon them. Especially if you need a dual disc to do it. So yeah. He makes Deku do it twice, which Jaden's just somewhat feeling sorry for him, but he does think he does make a good point. Him and Yubel think he makes a good point. So yeah, let's just say he keeps Neos out, just uses Neos for the entire thing, and Neos gets pretty much the top score on each test, except for the ball throw, because Ochako did it, got the top score, Infinity, just like in canon. Which then Deku, and he gets somewhere in the top 5 of the final scoring. He gets somewhere in the top 5. That's all I can say. After that, it goes similar to canon, where when it's time to go home, where he's heading to the train station or something to get home. It's not just him, Ida, and Ochako, but also Bakugo as well. They talk about how Deku's quirk's so interesting that he's able to manifest duel monsters holograms physically. So yeah, that's pretty much the entire conversation revolves around Deku's quirk and how he knows Bakugo and all. Somewhat. Bakugo's reluctant to say anything. He only says 1 or 2 things. Though, when the subject of actual dueling skills, Deku says, actually, never mind, just scratch that, but yeah. Next few days, we time skip to the next few days. It's the day of All Might does the Heroes vs. Villains test. He comes in, just like in canon, that I'm coming through the door like a hero, or whatever. Everyone is excited that they're doing hero combat training with All Might. That their teacher is All Might. So yeah. For the costumes, everyone's pretty much the same except for Deku. He has a belt with several holsters on it, each holding a deck, and a dual disc that's attached to his a custom-made dual disc that was created for when Deku was making his costume. It's the same costume as in canon, but little changes. He has instead of a regular, his entire left arm glove is actually attached to the dual disc. And it clips on. Well, to the custom-made dual disc. I don't really have specific design yet, but let's just say he has a custom-made dual disc. Though instead of green, it has a few. Actually, yeah, just continue with the color green, but with a little bit of red in there. Reminiscent of Jaden's days at Slifer Red, with Jaden's influence of being in Slifer Red dorm. So yeah. And with that, they get to the combat area, the city area, and which then they do the lots just like in canon. Nothing really changes. Deku explains to Ida the concept of the lottery thing, because it gives them the same reason that teaming up can be random, especially in the field. He understands and says, "All right." which then all the tests go similar except when it comes to Deku and Uraka and Bakugo and Ida's tests. It's hard to explain. Deku pulls out his Neo Space, actually brings out his Neo Spacian deck, and asks if Dark Panther could, if Dark Panther or the Grand Mole could sneak into the building, tell him where the bomb is. I can't decide which route, so let's just say he has as Grand Mole to drill into to dig into the building, to just try to sneakily dig into the building and try to find the bomb and tell them where it is so they can go get it, because they find out exactly where, and Grand Mole. But if it was Dark Panther, probably sneak around before entering and sneak back to Deku, tell him exactly where it is. Ochako's surprised as how are they when they make this plan. Ochako asks, "How are you? I thought Quirk allows you to manifest the holograms physically." Deku plays it off, saying that when I manifest the holograms physically, they also gain an AI, somewhat of an AI. I give them the body, and the dual disc gives them the mind or the personality, the follow orders or something. Or yeah, that's pretty much it, he says. So yeah, they go in. Bakugo's actually staying behind because he doesn't have that anger towards Deku like in canon. He still wants to beat him, but he's not gonna recklessly charge in like head first like in canon. Deku thinks as they get to the door, the entrance into the room where the bomb is, they try to make a plan. Somewhere on the way up there, they try to make a plan. Deku summons Neo-Spacian Flame Scarab. Actually, wait. Yeah, Flame Scarab. To help out with distracting Bakugo. And sorry, this battle's it's extremely difficult just because I didn't really think this through completely. There's so many routes Deku could go with his dual monsters. Having a hard time trying to calculate and figure out the exact situation will happen for this entire thing. I'm just gonna have to end it right here because I'm having trouble. I'll continue this another time. So yeah, that's the end of part 4 of What If Duel Monsters was in MHA. So yeah, hope you guys like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and tell me down in the comments below on how this entire fight will go. Give me your thoughts, and please give me your thoughts. Having a little trouble. So yeah, there won't be any more uploads tonight. Maybe in the next 2 days I'll upload something else, and maybe update one of my other what ifs that I haven't gone past 3 parts yet. So yeah, Bye.